Harry Como's Craft Music Hall will not be seen tonight, so that we may bring you the following special program.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. Slight technical issue on the video side, guys and girls. My camera isn't working, so you get that wonderful picture of me and Word Balloon guests that Tim Seeley drew years ago. But thankfully, their cameras are working well. It's great to welcome back the power couple, Fred Van Lente and Crystal Skillman. Good to see you guys. Welcome back.
Hey, John. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. We're so happy to be here.
Hey, I'm always happy to have you back. Crystal was smart. She put out the bat signal and said, "Hey, we got a Kickstarter campaign going on." Exactly. Do the Batusi eyes, Crystal. Can you do the dance? Atta girl. Nice. Of course, you can do it.
It's a spotlight with that circle logo you have.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, really. It's the Word Balloon signal.
Flashing in the Chicago skies.
But no, I'm excited tonight to talk about Eat Fighter, a webcomic that you are now collecting, and you've got a Kickstarter campaign that has about 2 weeks left in it. What is the genesis of Eat Fighter?
Insanity.
It's a very unique project. It was something I was sort of kicking around for a long time, couldn't quite wrap my brain around it. And then we kind of hit upon this idea of basically it's an anti-fascist competitive eating fast food adventure in which all comfort food has been banned. And so the biggest rock stars in this world are competitive eaters, like the Coney Island hot dog eating contest.
Sure. Kobayashi.
And our main character is trying to become the head of, beat the final boss of the Eat Fighter competition, Nominous, because she thinks he is involved in the murder, if you will, of her brother,
who is a super champion,
who's the previous champion, Buckeye Barnes. And it's just bananas. And the art is by the incredibly talented Fernando Pinto.
Yep, and there's a lot of love stories in it too. Along the way, her love interest has a lot of conflicting ties. There's a lot of reveals with Carlos. There's also her mentor and teacher Takayaki and his relationship with Chompers. So it's like very poppy, but it also is tackling the body images and imagist world we live in.
And there are recipes.
And the recipes every single
all
chapter.
Of the food eaten in the book you can cook yourself.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So every episode comes with recipes. We did the webtoon from 2019 to 2020. Had a ton of fun, and just now our buddy Tom Akel over at Rocket Ship, which collects a lot of the webtoons, is collecting it in this Kickstarter.
And I think what we're appreciating so much about it coming back is that from Reddit to the original folks who follow the webtoon to folks just discovering it today, there's a lot of twists in this storytelling and this comic, which we really tried to land when we were doing the webtoon storytelling. And it's quite memorable because of that, because there's a big secret that Missy is holding, which is why she can eat so much and not gain a pound.
And not gain a pound. What's that all about?
Yeah, interesting. Have you, as New Yorkers, ever gone to Nathan's big hot dog eating competition?
We do research.
We tried last year.
We always back up. We've gone a few times, actually.
No, we hit. Well, we went.
Yeah.
We went once and didn't. The problem is that, like, if you've ever been to Coney Island, Nathan's, the hot dog place, where the competition takes place, it's in basically an alley that goes to the beach. So unless you are there at like 7 o'clock in the morning,
really see it, to be up
it's
above.
like Times Square at New Year's Eve, like a lot of like New York City things. Like if you do not show up at 8 a.m. on July 4th, you ain't going to get anywhere near the stage. And last time we went, it poured. And so it was
pretty full, which was cool.
We actually got there early enough that we could sort of see the stage, but then we got driven inside by the rain. And by the time the rain stopped and we got our act together, the competition was over.
However, we saw the coolest part, which was all of the champions engaging with fans and signing. And
that's
that
true.
was
We saw
really,
Joey Chestnut came out and did his open mouth like roar thing for the fans. His mouth is like the size of his whole head. When he looks like he's able to like unhook his jaw like an anaconda, and that was pretty impressive to see that 5 inches from your face.
I don't know if you guys remember and how much you watched The Man Show, Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla's show, but they used to have a musical supervisor, the Fox, and the Fox would play the piano and kind of in the mode of was it Mark Russell, the political comedian, would do kind of the barroom songs and making political songs. Well, he would like do barroom songs and turn them into like frat boy R-rated sing-alongs and everything.
Sure.
Much like the eater that you're describing, he could down like a giant German 2 pints of beer and seemingly do it in one swallow, and he could open his throat to really like just beer like that fast and everything. So
I mean, they're America's greatest heroes, and one day will they be recognized as such. Well, because if you go to the website, the other part of the research was if you go to the website of Major League Eating, which is the governing body of the international, at least the North American Competitive Eating Association. And also as they roll out, like as people mount on the stage in Nathan's every July 4th, the MC's yelling out like all the foods they're the champions of, like so-and-so, apple pie champion, popcorn shrimp champion, taco champion, it's just sort of unbelievable. So each one of our Eat Fighters and Eat Fight has a specialty food they're good at consuming.
And Fred and I always have this, like, we love, there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of food and there's a lot of adorableness. And we just love that combo. That's that kind of offbeat, obviously, humor. I would just say that for Fred fans, this really hits the sweet spot of something like MODOK's 11.
Incredible Hercules.
Yep. And for me, it kind of hits the sweet spot of my theater work in addition to comics like Geek with cosplayers. It has that kind of quality. Yeah. And one of the fun things is that when we knew it was the near future. We knew we wanted to construct this world where fast food was banned. But like when we created it, it probably became one of the best chapters. We actually hold off on explaining that. There are 2 characters that are old, like Fox News, pretty much. And they're called Old People News. And they're like, and so there's a whole thing that breaks into the middle of the comic. And they're like, you may have forgotten why he fighting is a felony. And then they go into this whole backstory where we've created this totalitarian president, which has come back. And it involves a little boy, little Timmy, who really wanted to imitate one of the Eat Fighters. And so he had a plastic toy from his dog that was a steak, and he tried to eat it. And his mom's drinking wine, and it doesn't go well. And all of that is wonderfully portrayed in black and white reenactment drawings of Fernando. And it's heartbreaking but hilarious. But yes, there is a payoff to that as well.
And so the ATF is still around, but the F no longer stands for firearms because they've stopped enforcing all gun laws, because of course we have to spend all of our energy tracking down Eat Fighters.
Right. Oh, and people can carry guns openly, everywhere. And they carry them pretty much under their coats. Yeah.
And the F in ATF now stands for food.
Yes.
So
that's hilarious.
It's we're just obsessed with food and dieting and exercise, and there's CrossFit cultists,
there's
and
zombies involved.
There's Girl Scout cookies. There's
my favorite, Cadet.
Cadet Cutie, the crazed Girl Scout.
Only 10 years old. She'll kill you for that Eat Fighting badge.
We have Mad Max food truck.
Yeah. Sushi roulette.
Rallies.
Sushi roulette for, it's kind of like the Deer Hunter. So there's like a lot of amazing little film homages throughout the whole piece.
It's a cornucopia, if you will, John. A smorgasbord.
It's a smorgasbord.
If you will. Just like the trailer says, it's all you can eat.
Of food-related insanity.
It's all you can eat.
And so it's,
It's all you can eat.
That's amazing. That's good. God, what are you? I'm assuming you're Food Network viewers.
Not really.
Our big thing is Top Chef.
Our big thing is Top Chef.
Oh, Top Chef. Okay.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
cool.
on Bravo.
Yes. I respect that.
Yeah, but I watch some Food Network and different cooking shows. I'm a little bit of a sucker for the ones that are like really repetitive. So I'm like, why am I watching? It's like taking forever to make a cupcake. But they're like, can you make this cupcake with the skull on top?
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm not a baking guy. I can't get into the
But my favorite, although you can't really watch, it's not really a show. Sorry, Cake Boss. But Cake Boss is like, I mean, it's just stretched out, but it's just watching Italians, and I am half Italian, sitting around and like, what are you talking about, Cake Boss? You can't make this cake with all of these zoo animals. It's impossible. And Cake Boss is like, I got an idea. And then there's like the B storyline where somebody eats some of the crumb cake for the children or orphans or something in the fridge. And they're like, why did somebody eat this? They shouldn't have eaten it.
You did go through a phase where you were unhealthily obsessed with Cake Boss.
And it made me laugh so hard.
You wanted to go across on the PATH train just to go to the Cake Boss.
I did. I was like, where is he? Is he here?
Nice notebook.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I should have.
I've been scouring Tubi and Pluto and all the free streamers, because they always have weird stuff on the free streamers.
Right.
And Tubi, I think, has the very early seasons of the original Japanese Iron Chef. That they used to show on Food Network, and they would translate it. And I love watching. I mean, Iron Chef America, it doesn't have the same panache as the original. And I just love the translation. And then also, Japan has its own culture. So yeah, famed filmmaker, never heard of him. Famed film star, never heard of her. Upper House, they have like people in government as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The squid is a bit tender, and I think but I find I really like the texture that you got. Very, very gentle, like listening to golf play-by-play.
That's very accurate to the translation that you hear underneath. That's really good, Tom. That is the voiceover.
It took me ever to figure out. I was obsessed with the closing theme to the credits of the Japanese Iron Chef I finally found it.
Guess what? I'm gonna make them guess. Make a guess.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do trivia later on. But John, do you know what movie?
Tell me. Oh, it's always great. It's great orchestra music. No, please tell me.
It is Backdraft. It is the closing credits theme.
Wow.
Backdraft, the Ron Howard firefighter movie.
Yes. Shot in Chicago.
Movie I've never seen.
Wow, do you guys
good movie?
Fires? Because there's Chicago Fire as well. Like,
absolutely.
They're known for fire.
Oh,
yeah. I guess it's fire. I guess. Fire,
yeah, Chicago Fire. Yeah.
Hot dogs and
fire.
Well,
hey, sadly, a fire on my street. I'm at 2,200, and the fire was at 1,000 of my street. And and all my friends who work in news, they're like, "I'll text me. Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, Yeah. I didn't even hear the sirens. I saw some flashing lights drive by towards the fire, but I never smelled anything. Again, it was far enough away that it didn't really affect us.
We had like the worst drought here for 2 months up until last week, and actually part of our local park got on fire. 2 acres. We actually had a forest fire in New York City,
in Prospect Park, and also Inwood. Had a lot burned in Inwood, which is a beautiful area, way up.
Oof.
But we just had a ton of rain,
So on Eat Fighter, how many like, again, this is the collected version, everybody.
Yeah,
and
it's a big
and
boy.
You said Rocket Ship is putting it out?
Yep.
Excellent. How many pages then is it as a collected?
It's going to be in the 300 range.
Well, sure, because it's a webcomic. Yeah,
it's a big boy. It was 25 episodes, the whole series, and they just did a really great job translating it. As most people know, Webtoon has that vertical scrolling format, which I, particularly as a comics writer, I thought it was really cool. But it can be kind of a nightmare to put together in our American comics format. But Rocket Ship, as always, does a great job with that stuff.
And there's also a beautiful slipcover, very
Fernando designed
that you can get. That it looks like a
Swanson's Happy Meal package.
It's hilarious. Rad. There's so many funny little merchy things. Like, this could literally have its own Comic-Con with different events, which is something I'll dream about.
You're gonna have to set up a table. You have to set up a table at Nathan's every 4th and sell it.
I've heard worse ideas, quite honestly.
Come on, absolutely.
And
go ahead.
Just real quick,
please, Fred.
Praise our publisher. They also did the most amazing trailer video.
Oh my gosh, we got to show it, John.
Even if you have no interest in pledging to the campaign, that's fine. Although that does make you a bad person.
Yeah, so, you're not a good person. You will.
But even if you don't have any interest in pledging to the campaign whatsoever, watch the video. It is a minute and a half of your life that you will be very happy.
I do think the timing of this is kind of great because there's a lot of emotions going on right now, and food brings people together. In cheesy movies, it's over like in a Hallmark movie, but in our world, it's zombies and crazy Girl Scouts that want to kill you to get a eat fighting badge.
And we walk the walk too. The reason I'm coughing so much is I grilled
have fun
habanero chilies for tonight's pork chops.
Fred is an eat fighter.
And man, they did a number that the oil just
so now he's choking.
That's why I'm coughing.
You're like
so
little
much.
Timmy. Actually, this is why eat fighting is illegal.
I'm less deadly.
Here, let me show some art here from the webpage. There it is.
Yeah, let's see.
And appropriately, we're moving vertically. Did they have to reformat in any way? Well, obviously, I would assume they would, just because it's by panel vertically and everything. So setting up the pages and stuff. How was that transition?
Well, it's hard because the way it's set up. For any of you listening who do know how to make comics, like the font is like 25. The image is it's made to be watched read on a phone, right? But because of the resolution, the font's like 24 point font. It's just the files are ginormous, and so they've got to shoot them down and kind of reorder them. I mean, what you're seeing here is mostly how it looks on Webtoon.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so with the book, we have.
You'll see how Fernando stacked the panels vertically, but every once in a while,
That's MC Famine, who is basically the host of Eat Fighter.
Yes, he's the Joel Grey and Cabaret of the Eat Fighter.
That's great. Excellent, man. No, it really does look great. It sounds fantastic. And again, you guys know humor. Fred, I mean, I compare this to what you and Ryan Dunleavy did with the comic book history of comics and things like that, So, and there's always humor in Crystal's plays, so that's cool. Do you see this potentially as something you can adapt, Crystal, for a stage thing?
Well, it's interesting. We were chatting about it. There's some nerdy trivia about it. It over the pandemic, Qui Gwyn and I are friends. He had Vampire Cowboys. He now works in Hollywood for a lot of Disney films. The Last Dragon was what we worked on, and then also
co-directed Strange
Worlds. And so we were just all getting antsy, and so he called the teams back together, and he said, whatever you guys want to do something of an episodic story. And so we actually did a little quick live version of it. And in fact, there is a theme song by one of the actors, Nima Giriapshi, who's a wonderful, wonderful actor. And so I can absolutely get that to you to maybe do for the closing credits.
Carlos in the live version.
He played Carlos in the live version, which was super cool.
Who's the food truck owner, who is the love interest of this.
And then we have a pilot for an idea for an animated series. So we're hoping once we did get some animated.
We did get some interest from animation studios while we were up on Webtoon. So we kind of talked with the Webtoon folks about that. It was fun. Nothing came of it, as often such things do, but it was neat while it was happening.
But now it's alive in a book form, so it might be different.
I understand. It is interesting that I'm surprised there hasn't been an animated cook-related series of some sort.
Well, it's funny. Like, we were a little ahead of our time. There's a bunch of these now manga that are like cooking shows or cooking comics, but they involve Dungeons and Dragons. It's people going into dungeons and killing the monsters and eating them. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
There is something with a new project, though, that from the beginning, it's going to be a play and a comic. Play first. It's called Parallel Lil. So that's when we talk about next projects. That's a piece that Fred and I started developing as a comic with Ryan Dunleavy. And then I realized that we could, I got commissioned by a cool high school, a performing arts high school in Orlando. And I was like, I'd like to work on this. And they're like, oh man, that's awesome. So, the play, I just heard the first draft of a lot of it. And it's awesome. It's pretty great. So it will be done completely as a play. We already have some of the art, and then we'll come back and work on it as a comic book series.
That sounds great. Here in Chicago, I'm trying to remember which month it was. I think it was August or maybe October. No, or rather September. I think it was September. There's a guy, Mark Precht, a local playwright.
We just got in touch. He just got in touch.
I was wondering that, and let me finish for people who may not remember. He's been on Word Balloon as well. He has been doing a trilogy of comic book related history plays. The first one was about Bob Kane. The second one was about EC Comics. The final one was about Stanley and Jack Kirby. And of course, I spoke to him, and both before seeing the play and then also on the show. And I'm like, well, my friends, Fred Van Lente and Crystal Skillman, made King Kirby, and a fine play that has traveled around and certainly has played in many cities in North America. And pardon me?
Dallas in the spring.
It's going south.
Hey, congratulations. Wonderful. So, tell me about meeting Mark. I'm glad you guys were able to contact each other.
Well, Mark has some great ideas about panels and at different Comic-Cons. And so we're chatting about that. He's talking to a few people. I love his energy in bringing together those of us interested in comics and theater and using both mediums to talk about comic book history or to bring out an aspect of it. So I don't know. It feels kind of like a little like the, geek history of comics Avengers.
Yeah.
But he's gathering because our friend Lenny also has done some pieces. Carson Kreitzer, a great playwright, did a Wonder Woman play that I've always loved.
Really?
Yeah, and Carson Kreitzer was the book writer for Lempicka, which was on Broadway recently. Really interesting writer, really smart and fun. So we could keep expanding even, but we're getting the core together first, right? That's what happens in the movies. You get the core together, and then we find there's another, and then we have to argue about paperwork, like Captain America and Iron Man couldn't agree on some legality.
Sure. No, that's great. I always remember the Superman musical of the 70s.
Yes.
And I remember.
Yeah. Tell us, Sean.
Well, I honestly, I was a little kid, but I do remember when ABC ran an adaptation of the full musical, and they ran it as like an hour or a 90-minute thing. I don't remember how long it was. I know there are bootlegs of it available and stuff, but yeah, Leslie Ann Warren was Lois Lane.
It's a really, sorry, Harvard Heroes. The songs are fantastic, brother. They're by the same people who did Bye Bye Birdie,
which is Lee Adams and Charles Strauss.
And
oh wow!
The problem with it is the book is dumb as a sack of bricks.
Yeah.
Well, but then also is another one of our Avengers we'll have to get eventually if at some point this gets around to him. Roberto, who has worked on the Riverdale TV show.
Oh yeah, Roberto Aguirre-Scarza, certainly.
Yes, and Roberto and I have been circling around each other for many, many, many years. In fact, I once by accident held a rehearsal in his apartment. Because the team was like, I'm friends with his husband. I was like, wait, what? Very cool stuff. But anyway, so it would be fun to have Roberto involved too. But Roberto did a new book for Superman that did quite well. My favorite story about Superman, being that I had to live through clips, John, things like that, and always wish I could see it. And Ryan Dunleavy in the Comic Book History of Comics is a beautiful panel where he drew it. I got to meet Hal Prince. It was one of the best meetings in theater of my life. I like working in theater. I like a lot of people, but I have to say, Hal Prince was the best.
And you presented him with a frame, with the page, the original from Comic Book History.
And I was hoping, because I'm surrounded. We had an hour-long conversation. We talked about geek, and he was like, "Are you ready to go to deeper waters?" That's what the New York Times says. And like he had done all this research on me. And he asked me how fast I wrote. He said, Steven is really slow. And I was like, oh my God, he's talking about Steven Steinheim. So it was just an amazing, amazing meeting. And at the end, Superman is great, but also I'm talking to the man who Sweeney Todd, right? Parade, like he's the
Yep.
legend,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he regards Superman really. And he goes, Superman. He's like, Crystal, those were my best reviews. He's like, Crystal, those were my only good reviews. And I was like, I know.
Wow.
But he just found that so ironic, and he loved it too. But he always found it very, very funny that was the only piece that he ever worked on that actually was like, he's critically acclaimed, but the gushing happy reviews were all for Superman musical. Those are the best reviews that Hal Prince ever got.
That's crazy. Wow. That's crazy? Yes. And also it's amazing that you got to meet him. I felt that way when in the 90s and into the early 2000s, working at Boxing Illustrated, the publisher of the magazine, the late Bert Sugar, introduced me to Bud Schulberg, the wonderful playwright and screenwriter and novelist. And I got to hang out with him at a few boxing matches. And one night we were in Vegas, and it was a lot of walking, and he was already in his 80s. And Bert's like, Bud, let's get you a wheelchair or something. And at first, Bud was very like, come on, I'm not that old. And he was like 85 at the time. And we're like, yeah, but Bud, it is a lot of walking. So a couple more steps, he's like, maybe a wheelchair's a good idea. We're like, okay, no problem. We'll flag down a waitress. It's Vegas, whatever you need. And he's like, well, who's going to push me around? And I said, it would be my honor, Bud, to help you out. So it was the end. We did it the whole fight. At the end of the night, he's like, John, how can I thank you? I'm like, all right, you're going to go home. I'm going to give you a couple days rest. Then you're going to get on the phone with me. And we're going to talk about On the Waterfront and Facing the Crowd and all these great movies and books that he wrote over the years. The Harder They Fall. And he made movies with Andy Griffith and Humphrey Bogart's last movie with Rod Steiger, an amazing film, The Harder They Fall. And yeah, it was like, oh my God, tell me everything. And God bless him, he did. It was fantastic. So I can only imagine you meeting Hal Prince. That's got to be that same vibe.
John, you keep dropping all these little musical things, which makes sense. Wicked just opened, but also Facing the Crowd. That's the one with Andy Griffith, right?
Correct.
Right.
Lonesome Road.
It's the time we're living now. It actually has been it's been made into a musical. It is on the West End right now, or it's in London. And Sarah Rule is the playwright of that. Sarah Rule is a great writer. She wrote something called The Clean House and Eurydice.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Because again, I'm like, talking to Bud. I mean, and this was like the early it was 2002. It was literally like a month before Mike Tyson fought Lennox Lewis. Back then. Again, good Lord, more than 20 years ago. But I'm like, yeah, like you said, Facing the Crowd is so, it could easily be told today. It is as much a story. It could be about Rush Limbaugh. It could be about Glenn Beck. It could be about Donald Trump for that matter. Because it's about a media star that suddenly is out of control and is very a megalomaniac sort of personality. And, and also beware the dangers of media influence. Gee, I'm glad we conquered that problem.
So conquered it.
Yeah. But no, it's, and so, yeah. And I'm like, so, he goes, Jim Carrey keeps dancing around a Face in the Crowd and wants to make it. And again, it's like 2002 that he was telling me this. He goes, I got no control. It's all up to Warner Brothers or whatever they want to do with it and stuff. He said, but I think that would be interesting. And I'm like, yeah, pretty cool, man. So, yeah. Wow.
Well, and you're always looking for in a musical. I'm the musical book writer of Mary Max, which is tell
people
the based on the black and white animated film by Adam Elliott. It's a beautiful story about an 8-year-old girl in Australia who has no one, but her only person she can talk to is like her pet rooster. It's in the 70s. It's got this kooky, beautiful flair to it, but it's very sad. She finds the address of Max Horowitz, who lives in the city. There are no phones, there's phones, but there's no like cell phones, things like that. So she, and there's no phone number listed. So she only has the address. She writes him a letter. Turns out that Max Horowitz is, like 44, I think at the start of it, 300 pounds, as tall as a 6-foot tree. And he has Asperger's syndrome, which is what it's called at the time. So he calls himself an Aspie. But he has to choose to write her back. And she writes very provocative questions because her mother is a kleptomaniac, or they're both kind of alcoholics. So she has no one to ask these questions to, like, where do babies come from? All these things that, I feel like I like the boy next door. What is that like? And they start this pen pal relationship over many years. Wow. And then the whole question is, will they meet? This same animator, Adam Elliott, he is Australian. He has a brand new hit. And it takes a long time to make a claymated film, as we all know. It's called Memoirs of a Snail. And it's everywhere, and it's getting glowing reviews. It's really exciting to see. Everyone seems to know it. So I would say see the new one, see Memoirs of a Snail, backtrack, see Mary Max, and then hopefully by the time you're done, you'll get to see the musical.
That's amazing. That's great, Crystal. Truly, both of you, I'm always amazed by the projects you guys come up with, and your self-starters and your creative people, and I think it's great that you guys have the kind of thinking that you do that gives us these great things. So keep going, keep it up. What's Crystal? Forgive me, I never remember the play that you were so kind to help me be involved with here in Chicago.
Another Kind of Love, the punk rock play with music by Heidi Rowald, and it was about a punk rock family. You were the radio voice.
Yes,
that led us through that.
That was awesome.
To play, baby.
Let me tell you, hey, I'm serious. And Crystal knows, man. I mean, I felt I was very happy to be involved. So it meant a lot. So how come you haven't put me in a comic book, Fred? Gee.
Yeah, how come?
I'm kidding.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Don't yeah, that was just totally BS. On my part. I don't care. It's nice when it happens.
It could happen.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, man, actually, I do know I'm in Tom King's new Black Canary MMA fighting comic book, and I'm one of the they misspelled my name on purpose for copyright reasons, but so they can't trademark my name. But I am one of the boxing broadcasters or I should say fight broadcasters. So
very nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we're talking on Tuesday night.
Appropriate.
There you go. Well, again, everybody, Kickstarter for Eat Fighters, and it's again. Here we go, and it's 2 weeks to go. Check it out. Go to the Kickstarter campaign. Check out the trailer, and it sounds great, and it looks fantastic. By Fred and Crystal, and again, your artist name again. Forgive me.
Fernando Pinto.
Fernando Pinto, absolutely. No, it's fun. It looks great and it sounds great, and I'm not surprised. So everybody should jump on that and support the Kickstarter for that. It's well over 300 pages, so it's going to be quite a read, and I think that's terrific.
And awesome merch.
Awesome merch. Excellent to hear. Fred, you as we have done in previous sessions on Word Balloon, you're a trivia master.
That's right.
You got a few rounds of trivia ready to go here?
I do. I always have people come up to me at cons and say how much they enjoy it when we do these shenanigans, John. So
that's great to hear, man.
Oh yeah, all the time. So to the point, and then I'm like, do you want to buy something for my con table? I'm like, no, I'm kidding. No, they all buy stuff. But no, it's quite serious. So I never want to leave here. I know you get a kick out of it too.
I love it.
And now you've got help with Crystal here.
Yeah.
Weapon.
Yeah.
Crystal does not know any of these questions.
I'm not good at trivia, so that
and she's not good at trivia. So
no, we're a team, Crystal.
No, you're a team. You're playing together.
Okay, cool.
All right. Us and the viewers are all playing together.
That's right. So because we just got scheduled this on Friday. I'm doing 3 rounds of trivia instead of my usual 4.
Okay.
I'm always thinking about you, John. I'm always jotting things down.
God bless you, Fred. I'm always thinking about you guys. You know that.
But I was a little. I kind of threw this together. But I think you'll be pleased. I think the listeners will be pleased as well. All right. This is actually game 8. This is our 8th. Can you believe it, John? Our 8th.
I had no idea. That's fantastic. Jesus, man.
3 rounds of general knowledge geek trivia, each with a different theme. Round 1, Crystal and John and all the ships at sea. It's called Double Down. So this is something I got from my pub trivia league I play in. They always do in the finals, which is I'm going to give you a multiple choice question.
Okay.
Okay. There's going to be, and there are 2 correct answers. Okay. Now, the way we do it in tournament rounds, we're not really playing for points. This is really pointless. But if you guess both things correctly, you get 2 points.
Okay.
If you guess just one, you get 1 point. However, if you guess twice and you are wrong on either of them, you get bupkis. So you see what I mean?
I do.
It's a double or nothing round. Are you ready? So this is multiple
ready.
choice. This is double down. Are you excited, Crystal?
Yes, I'm really
Just the
I'm
fear on
terrified.
her face is
I'm so
palpable.
terrified.
All right, here we go. Question 1, round 1, double down. Starships owned by the Guardians of the Galaxy in any media. Your options are Captain America, Mothership, Eclector, or the Benatar. You may discuss amongst yourselves.
Oh my God.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I'm
Mothership, Eclector, or Benatar.
So are these the names of the ships? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
well, I'm going to guess Mothership is one of them.
Mothership.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other 3 again are?
Captain America, Eclector, and Benatar.
You know, I really want to say Benatar just because of the whole mixtape thing motif. But I wonder if that's too on the nose. What do you anything's suspicious to you, Crystal?
I don't. It's a grab bag. I don't know. But I want to say Benatar. So I don't know if that's a good idea. The other one would be what are the other 2?
Captain America and
Captain America, Eclector, and Benatar.
Eclector.
Eclector. Right.
That sounds made up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'd say, well, like they all are, obviously. Yes. I'm gonna say, I'll Crystal. I'm with you. I think Mothership and Benatar.
Yeah.
All right. Benatar was the ship they got in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when their original ship, the Milano, was destroyed.
That's good.
Mothership. Oh, sorry. No, Eclector was the ship of Yondu and the Ravagers.
Okay.
Chasing them.
Okay.
Mothership, I'm afraid, was the ship of the Omega Men.
Oh, sure.
Space Heroes team.
Oh.
And the very first, in the comics, the very first ship the Guardians flew was called the Captain America.
Oh, no kidding.
So, no kidding. Wow. There you go.
All right. So, John and Crystal, just knowing you both were going to be on, this next question combines geek and theater knowledge.
Uh-oh.
Yay.
A couple of these
Yay.
do. So, Star Trek titles that are quotations from Hamlet. I'm going to read off 4 Star Trek titles of episodes/movies.
Yeah.
2 of them are quotations from Hamlet. 2 of them are not.
Okay.
All Our Yesterdays. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Mm-hmm. Dagger of the Mind, The Conscience of the King.
It is Undiscovered Country and Conscious of the King.
That is correct.
I agree with Crystal wholeheartedly. Well done.
2 points for you guys. Those are both quotations from Hamlet. All Our Yesterdays and Dagger of the Mind are quotations from Macbeth.
Another.
I was going to say Macbeth.
From Macbeth. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Right.
Number 3. Avengers actors who appeared in the movie The Avengers with Oscar nominations.
Ooh.
Oh.
Chris Evans, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Hiddleston.
Well, definitely Mark Ruffalo, right?
I think that's right. I don't think Chris Evans has made anything that's Oscar worthy. At least nominated. Who are the other 2 again? Hiddleston
and Jeremy Renner.
And Renner. I think Renner was for Hurt Locker, wasn't he?
That sounds right. I feel good. I don't know. I don't know what else to do.
I'm gonna go with Crystal, Ruffalo, and Renner.
That is correct. Ruffalo and Renner actually have been nominated multiple times. Renner for The Hurt Locker and The Town.
Oh, right. Sure.
An Affleck movie.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo was nominated for Spotlight and Poor Things and a wrestling movie called Foxcatcher.
Oh, of course.
Forgetting one that Mark Ruffalo's in. So, all right.
That's great. No, that's excellent. All right. There we're doing good.
Okay. Number 4. Once again, theater comics crossover.
Go on.
I'm going to give you 4 song titles. 2 of them are from musicals about superheroes.
Oh, my.
All right.
You had fun doing this.
If the world should end, you've got possibilities.
Okay.
Countries in the very best of hands. You won't be an orphan for long.
Well, You've Got Possibilities is the Linda Lavin song from the Superman musical.
And the next one, can you read it again? Sorry.
If the world should end, the country's in the very best of hands.
That's from Little Abner.
And you won't be an orphan for long.
And that's from Annie.
So by process elimination, you're saying it's You've Got Possibilities and If the World Should End.
Right. Wait, but you said musicals, right?
I did.
So they're all musicals.
I did.
Yeah.
So what's the show If the World Should End?
Superheroes.
What?
This is for bonus points. She doesn't. You're
world,
right.
The world should end. What superhero?
If the World Should End is from Spider-Man.
Oh, right.
Turn Off the Dark.
Oh,
that's right. The aforementioned Roberto Aguirre Scarza.
I only know the Rise. I only know 2 songs from that.
By the way, all right, Little Abner. Let's take a moment and talk about the Little Abner movie. Fascinating movie.
Yeah, it's a fascinating movie.
Yes.
Stupefying Jones takes
Julie Newmar. Yes, that's Stupefying Jones. Yes.
Yeah, the whole Sadie Hawkins Day dance. It was a famous choreographer who did this. It might have been the same person who did Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I might be getting that wrong, but it rests a lot on choreography. And
yes,
the whole thing with trying to capture the men, which is on Sadie Hawkins Day, is masterfully done both on stage but also on film. I thought they captured that so well.
Julie Newmar's second most famous role is Stupefying
Jones. I mean, she kind of steals the show.
Oh my God. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen her at a comic convention? Julie Newmar?
Probably, but not that
she's just, still has I'm assuming if not 90, damn close, still has that dancer's body, has the smallest waist of any adult woman, especially a 6 foot tall woman that I've ever seen. Just the tiniest waist in the world. And just still a very stunning woman, even into her later years and everything. But yeah, she's pretty incredible. She is pretty incredible.
And who is the amazing actor who plays Nicely Nice? He also does Nicely Nicely in Guys and Dolls. He plays the one who sings "The Country's in the Very Best of Hands."
Yeah. Is that Stubby K or no?
Stubby K. Yeah, he's amazing.
He's in Cat Ballou as well. He and Nat King Cole are the musical narrators of Cat Ballou.
Oh,
that's great. I love Stubby K. He's awesome.
Yeah, so good.
Cool. Awesome. See, folks, you don't just get trivia in these trivia games. You also get scintillating pop culture.
Indeed. Well, that's why we gotta play to our strengths now, especially when we're with Ms. First Nighter herself, Crystal Skillman.
So we're gonna swing back slightly on the geekier side of things here, Crystal. Not permanently though.
Okay.
Characters killed during the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
All of them.
Technically.
Of Hawk and Dove. Dove.
Yes.
Flash. Prince Rahman. Who could forget Prince Rahman? Psycho Pirate.
All right, so 2 of these were casualties in the original Crisis?
2 of them were not.
Okay, well, I know for a fact Dove was one of the Steve Ditko, the original Hawk and Dove.
The male.
That's why we get the female Dove in later comics.
Right.
Don Hall, I believe.
Rob Liefeld drew that miniseries.
Yes, that's right. All right. Give me the names again.
So, yes to Dove. Your other 3 options are Kid Flash, Prince Rahman, and Psycho Pirate.
Okay, I know for a fact, Crystal. Well, Psycho Pirate is the one. First of all, he's the one that survives the Crisis and is the only current character that remembers the events of Crisis that is in the current DC universe as well. And Kid Flash, actually, he lives and becomes the new Flash. Wally West becomes the new Flash because Barry Allen dies. So it is Prince Rahman.
Correct. Ding. 2 more points. You guys are crushing these.
Yep.
Crushing these.
How about that?
And I'll just throw another plug over at Dan Greenfield's site, 13th Dimension. I've been doing a year long. I do a regular column there called Comic Book Deathmatch.
They're so good.
I pit two different comics against each other to see which one is better. And all year, at Dan's request, I have been doing Secret Wars versus Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that's been a ton of fun / nightmarish. Because a lot of DC fans on that site, they don't like a lot of my opinion.
Oh, that's it. Oh my God, that's fantastic. I've only Marv Wolfman, the writer of Crisis on Infinite Earths. We have warmed up. He has warmed up to me over the years, thank God. Mm-hmm. But I know that my first conversation with him, he was a little stiff, and that's why I don't rerun the episode that often. But in contrast, Shooter, I had on a panel in Connecticut at Terrificon, and cool. He really went into detail about writing Secret Wars and everything, and how he came up with the plot and everything.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it's been an interesting exercise. It's one was written, a big tent event, right? That trying to bring as many fans in as possible. The other one was very much by and for hardcore fans, and that's the major difference between two of them. And I can see why the hardcore fans despise Secret Wars.
That's funny.
Hardcore DC fans, because it's to sell, it's to sell toys. Like let's not
100%.
Let's not beat around the bush. And ironically, even though Secret Wars sold really well, the DC line, Superpowers line, did much better. Question number 6. This is round 1, double down. Comics creators that have plays written about them.
Oh,
here we go.
Familiar
William Moulton Marston.
Go on.
Jack Kirby. R. Crumb. Jerry Siegel.
Okay, so it's so we know Kirby obviously because we have two authors on the pod right now, and our friend Mark also wrote a Kirby play.
Siegel, there is a Siegel play.
There is a Siegel play?
Too. Yeah, it takes place. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's, I always wanted to read it, but it kind of refers to the Holocaust as well, and it goes backwards and forwards and uses that story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is true.
Oops.
Just, like.
I knew I was.
But I always wanted to find this play.
I knew I was in danger of writing this question.
That's okay.
So Crumb, there was a documentary. I don't know if there's been a play about Crumb.
Oh, we know America's Brother's Harvey, but then
Crumb is a character.
But Crumb, that makes sense that there would be a play. I would think it would be a musical.
So, Crystal, you may not be aware of this from name recognition. William Moulton Marston is famously the guy who created Wonder Woman.
Right.
Carson Chrysler did a play.
And you invoked that play earlier in the show.
I did.
So,
okay, I assumed it was Marston and.
I'm going to give you the 2 points, even though I've never heard of the Siegel play and you can't name the title, so I'm dubious.
It
exists, yes, it came out around the same time. Yes, it does. But I will Google and I will find it and I will post it under our chat.
I'm giving you the 2 points anyway.
Have you guys seen? I have yet to see that movie about William Marston and the Wonder Women. I believe it was called a couple of years ago. It was a little independent movie.
I thought that was the play.
Did they base it on the play?
No, the play is a little bit more surreal, I think. I mean, it has a main storyline, but also kind of goes into.
Yeah, Marston was a strange dude.
Oh my God, that family portrait of, and here's Marston, and here's his wife, and here's Olive, and Olive was the mistress, and it's awesome because if you zoom in on the photo, Olive is wearing bracelets, much like Wonder Woman's bracelets.
Yes.
And I don't think she was deflecting bullets with said bracelets.
Well,
just a thought.
Yeah, no, they were. I mean, she was basically a second wife, So
right.
I think it was a threesome. I don't think they were.
It was. Yes. Mrs. Marston was fine with Olive being
share alike.
Indeed. So yeah, pretty. But I do love that, and also, what was his name? The artist with Marston on the original, Harry Pierce or Peters.
Peters, I think his name.
Yeah, Peters. That's right. There's just these great pinups of Golden Age Wonder Woman, either spanking Etta Candy with a lollipop or Etta is spanking Wonder Woman with a lollipop. I forget which.
And one of the last Marston stories, this is in Comic Book History Comics, I believe the DC started tearing their hair out because one of the last Marston Wonder Woman stories has like 47 bondage panels in it, something like that. My God. And, this is back when comic books were a little bit longer, but still.
All for a dime.
I believe I am trying to. The internet doesn't work at Fred's office. Blame Fred's office. But it's called The History of Invulnerability. It's a stage production
Siegel
about
stage.
Jerry Siegel.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, by playwright David Barkatz. Don't know. We don't know each other.
Pretend I said Steve Englehart and not Jerry Siegel.
And then for the, I will. You can keep going for it, but I'll look up also the name of the Carson Kreitzer play. I believe it's Lasso of Truth.
That sounds right. It was done clean.
Nice.
Yeah, it's done.
All right. Next to last question, round 1, double down.
Go
Spider-Man villains who participate in Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. Something else I'm writing column in. Dr. Octopus, Kraven the Hunter, Green Goblin the Lizard. Two of these characters go to Battle World for the Super Secret Wars. 2 do not. I mean, you got a 50-50 chance, right, Crystal?
Crystal, I'll be honest, and this is a shameful admission on my part. I only know the general. I did not read Secret Wars when it was coming out. I did read Crisis when it was coming out, but I did not read Secret Wars. So my guess would be that we had A-list frontliners for Spider-Man villain representation. So my guess would be Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin.
Those are the heavy hitters.
It's an excellent
guess.
But remember, well, you wouldn't remember because...
Well, I know the Beyonders involved.
But at the time in Spider-Man, the Hobgoblin was around, was the only goblin.
Oh, right. Shame on me. Oops.
So there was no Green Goblin, so it was the Lizard.
Right.
It was Lizard and Dr. Octopus.
Oh, really? The Lizard. Interesting. Kirk counters.
The Lizard's my favorite in the is the Lizard also in? No, it's Alligator. It's who's the crocodile alligator character with Batman?
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc.
Oh yeah, Killer Croc. Sure.
Killer Croc's awesome.
I like Killer Croc, but yeah, the Lizard is he's kind of like the DC equivalent would be like Man-Bat, where it's unfortunate innocent scientist corrupted by his science and everything, becoming the Lizard.
Serum.
Yes.
Okay. Last question in round 1. Double down.
I love this.
So a big hit for Joe Simon and Jack Kirby in the Golden Age. In fact, it was DC's third bestseller after Superman and Batman was Boy Commandos.
Yes, sir.
And so after this was like a kid gang title, right? They were like young kids who were like fighting the Nazis, right? There was a Dutch kid and a French kid, and a British kid, and an American kid. So 2 of these titles I'm about to read are actual Simon and Kirby titles of kid gang books they did after Boy Commandos, and 2 I made up.
Okay.
So 2 Simon and Kirby kid gang titles: Boy Detectives, Boys Planet, Boy Explorers, Boys Ranch.
Well, I know for a fact Boys Ranch is one of them.
I was going to say Boys Ranch. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it was in our research.
Boys Ranch also very popular at certain sexually oriented restaurants. You can get your salad with Boys Ranch on the side.
Oh, there you go.
Hey now. Hello. All right, don't cancel me for that, everybody. That was a lame joke. I know.
Tip your waitress, folks. John will be here all week.
Thank you. Yeah, how you doing? I'm here all week. I enjoy the veal. All right, let's see.
So what's left is Boy Detectives, Boys Planet, Boy Explorers.
Well, it's either Detective or Explorers. I think Boys Planet. I think it might have been too early. My guess might be that it would be too early for.
Like them for some reason. Detective seems not. I don't know.
Yeah, too generic. You think Boy Explorers? What do you think? Or Boys Planet?
I don't know. Fred is not helping. Fred's making faces.
Of course not.
We say.
Of course not.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Well, at least we got one. We know.
Yes, Boy Explorers is correct.
Oh, it is Boy Explorers. Good. Good.
Yeah, Boy Detectives. It's true. I guess I could have called it Boy Dicks, but that would have been even worse than John's joke. So forget I said that. We'll all be canceled. And Crystal, you'll be canceled for associating with the 2 of us. So
yeah, no, I apologize.
I was referring to like Sophocles and the Dionysian festivals.
There you go.
There you go.
Often you would have boy lover interns.
And then also there was, of course, Neil Gaiman's Dead Boy Detectives from the Sandman series.
I just thought that's that's still running right now, right? Like it's like brand new in terms of
yeah.
So we're moving on to round 2 of game 8 of Word Balloon Trivia. And, as John knows, I like to do a little branding synergy with each one of these. And so Crystal and I are on the show tonight to pimp our anti-fascist fast food adventure Eat Fighter. So round 2, we're going to put together our own Eat Fighting team. It's called Intergalactic Eat Fighters.
Oh, cool.
And you have to guess which Eat Fighters I'm referring to based on the clues I give you. So you just have to name the Eat Fighter who we're going to get on our team. And like I said earlier, when it comes to competitive eating, people like specialize, like I've eaten the most donuts. I've eaten the most, French fries or whatever. Right. So each one of these Eat Fighters has a specific food they focus on. Okay. This alien member of the Justice League developed an addiction for the chocolate and cream treats known as Chocos during the Giffen and DeMatteis run on the Justice League title.
I know. I bet my audience knows as well. That would be John Jones, the Martian Manhunter.
That's right. Martian Manhunter, ding, 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 will join our and Chocos were, of course, the non-trade. They were Oreos. So
yeah.
Right.
Or Hydrox.
Okay.
Or Hydrox.
Okay.
Right. On our Eat Fighting team, since Chocos don't exist, we'll have Martian Manhunter eat Oreos.
Okay.
Sure.
Known in some incarnations as the head of the Egyptian pantheon Amun-Ra, this terror of pantheons is known as the God Eater. Under what name? He was also a member of Hercules' God Squad.
Oh, jeez. Shame on me.
This is a deep cut.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. So that's a Marvel Egyptian
god. Marvel character. It's a Marvel villain, yes.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to.
It's probably not, I'm going to guess, Kang's Egyptian identity.
No, that's Ramatut.
Thank you.
That's who I was seeing, but that's not who.
Yeah, so this character's name is Demigorge. Demigorge, the God Eater. He showed up in the same Thor annual, the Council of Godheads appeared in, and Greg and I used him in our Hercules run.
Sure. It's a shame. It's a shame Jason didn't bring him back for the God Killer arc in Thor that he did.
He did, actually.
Did he? Excuse me.
At least that's just the picture on the Marvel Wiki. Looks like it's from Jason's.
Oh, cool.
Okay, question number 3. Intergalactic. So Martian Manhunter, specialty eating Oreos. Right. Demigorge, specialty eating gods. So it's a diverse lineup, you guys. Okay, question number 3. Intergalactic Eat Fighters. This 31st century hero was born Tenzil Kem, and his eat fighting specialty can be defined in physics as, quote, that which occupies space and possesses rent mass, especially as distinct from energy. Unquote.
All right, give me that all one more time, please.
John, I know you're going to get this one. This 31st century hero was born Tenzil Kem, and his eat fighting ability can be defined in physics or his eat fighting specialty. Sorry, what he eats is defined in physics as that which occupies space and possesses rent mass, especially as distinct from energy.
A great name, everybody. My favorite name of the Legion of Superheroes people, Matter Eater Lad.
Yes, Matter Eater Lad is our third intergalactic eat fighter on our team, and his specialty obviously is
he can eat anything.
Matter.
Yeah.
Well, not
Matter.
energy.
Well, yeah.
But maybe we have someone covered for that one.
Oh,
man, I've never, in my conversations with Paul Levitz and Keith Giffen over the years and other people that have written or drawn the Legion, I've never really, that's a good Mark Waid discussion of when are you going to use Matter Eater Lad in one of your stories, especially Mark.
He doesn't work him in there.
I've yet to see when he was doing the Legion with Barry Kitson. I don't remember Matter Eater Lad showing up, but his encyclopedic knowledge of the DC universe, you would think it would be, and especially what he's doing right now in Justice League Unlimited. It's going to be great. I've already read the first issue. It's fantastic, and it sounds like pretty much all the heroes in the DC universe are all now part of the Justice League. So there's room if he wants to time travel back and be part of it.
That's right. Okay, we have three E-Fighters. Here's the fourth one. This adorable scamp once acquired a disturbing taste for the eggs of a frog lady. His adoptive father had been hired to transport across the galaxy leading to intense online controversy in 2020.
Whoa.
Who's
This adorable little scamp?
Adorable.
Oh, all right, I've got to guess.
Acquired a disturbing taste for the eggs of a frog lady. His adoptive father had been hired to transport across the galaxy. Intense online controversy in 2020.
This is a Mandalorian world. So who is it? Is it it's not Baby Yoda himself.
Correct. It was Baby Yoda.
Which is technically his name is everyone loves.
Oh, Grogu.
Grogu. So yes, Grogu joined the Eat Fighter team as eggs. His specialty is eggs.
He does love
which is an actual category. I will shock no one by pointing out for Major League Eat Fighter.
Okay. So these are just pop. This could be comics. This can be. It's all over. It's
coming at
we
you.
don't know. It's not.
You did good, Crystal. Atta girl, Crystal.
This is some Karate Kid stuff, man. It's coming at you from all directions.
Cobra Kai. You're
exactly.
Like Cobra Kai. You're bagging it.
Eagle Fang.
I'm from Miyagi-Do. It's just a lot.
All right. So we have
4.
John Jones, Demigorge, Matter Eater Lad, and Baby Yoda so far. Number 5.
Atta girl, Crystal.
Okay.
In pretty much every version of Pinocchio, this giant whale turns up to swallow some combination of the protagonists.
Geppetto and Pinocchio.
Geppetto and Pinocchio. But
what's the name of the whale? Pinocchio. This giant whale turns up to swallow some combination of the protagonists.
It's like Monstro or Stromo.
Monstro is correct.
Yes, I knew it was
okay.
Monstro is correct.
I went to Disneyland in 1970. Jesus Christ. That's how long ago it was. When I was 5 years old, I went to, and we were on the Monstro ride.
That's the great thing about Disneyland as opposed to Disney World is they have a lot of those OG original rides, you know?
Yes.
Like the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
The Snow White stuff's really cool. Yeah.
All right.
So exactly. Yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah. There's no way in hell they'd still have that. You know, guy. When they changed real fast, when they changed the Captain Nemo ride to Finding Nemo, it's like you guys are jerks. My God, it's like I don't know the last time you guys have seen 20,000 Leagues, but it's on Disney Plus, and I'm sorry, it's still from being a 50s steampunk movie. Still incredible to watch. Still amazing.
And directed by, ironically, Richard Fleischer, son of Disney's arch nemesis, Max Fleischer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
I do have some Disney news. I don't know why. Sometimes on my scroll because I like animated stuff and like weird stuff comes up. But one of my favorite events is in Disney's movie park, the MGM. Do they even call it MGM anymore?
No,
like they're like Movie Land
Hollywood
or whatever, Hollywood Place. But is Muppets 3D Vision. And actually I use a section of it to teach when I teach audio writing, because there's this amazing little creature that comes out and says, everyone thinks I'm talking to them, but I'm really talking to you. I think his name is Waldo.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool. And the whole thing, have you ever done it, John? It's
no.
Oh my God, it's half live action.
Well, you've missed your chance, John, because they're getting rid of it.
It's becoming.
Is it gone?
Yes, it is becoming a newer franchise.
And then,
I don't remember the exact franchise, but I was like,
so the Muppets are now booting out Aerosmith, and they're taking over the rock and roll roller coaster. Take that.
Oh, funny.
Oh, they are.
You know,
okay.
Today I was watching when Horatio Sands on SNL would do his Christmas song. I don't care what your mama says, Christmas time is here. And one year he came out. It was him, Chris Kattan, what's his face, Jimmy Fallon, and what's his face would just dance and never do anything, Tracy Morgan. So it was the four of them. And one time Horatio comes out and the other three aren't there, and all of a sudden Kermit shows up and he's like, "Oh, you look sad. What's the matter, Horatio?" He goes, "Well, I was expecting the guys to come out to sing my Christmas song." He's like, "Oh, we can help you." And it was Fozzie, Gonzo, and Animal, and Christmas and Kermit hung out too, and they all sang the Christmas song with Horatio and would do the physical moves that Jimmy Fallon and Chris Kattan would do, and it was especially seeing Animal and Fozzie aping their moves was just hilarious. And yeah, it's a fantastic Muppet SNL mashup.
That's great. And our intergalactic e-fighting team is looking good.
Okay.
Right. We have Oreos, Gods, Matter, which is kind of a broad topic.
Sure.
We have Oreos, gods, matter, eggs, and puppets covered.
Are these all going to connect to a theme? Is that what you're telling me, Freddie?
No, I'm just saying we have a diverse. That's the next round, actually.
Okay. All right. I thought so. Yes.
First round. All right. So now we have a 6. So I'm using the singular with this next Eat Fighter, but really they work as a team.
Okay.
A very large team.
Okay.
And their first appearance, their specialty food was to eat Deep Space Station K7's supply of
Ding, 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 ding.
quadrotriticale grain.
Yes.
The Tribbles.
Atta girl. Very good, Crystal. Yay.
I want one.
So we have carbs, puppets, eggs, matter, gods, Oreos. We're doing great. In Jack Kirby's original origin for this one of his most famous characters, he is accidentally given his bottomless hunger by the intervention of the Watcher, leading to the latter's vow to no longer interfere in galactic affairs. Unfortunately for Kirby, Stanley had already told the Watcher's origin a year before in the story to be significantly altered, leading to an even greater rift between the two. In Kirby's original version, who did the Watcher accidentally create?
Oh, my God. I don't know. Wow. I have no idea, Crystal.
Yeah, this is deep.
So what famous Kirby character has a bottomless hunger?
Yeah, I can't. Okay. Now I know.
Galactus.
Yeah.
Crystal got it.
Galactus, obviously. Yes. Atta girl.
Correct,
Yeah, Atta girl, Crystal. Yay.
Power Surfer. Yeah, a lot of.
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
lot. Planets.
That's funny.
Time for them. Yeah.
Planets, carbs, puppets, eggs, matter, God, Oreos. We're doing great. It was very well rounded fighting game. And last but not least, we have Matter Eater Lad, so we need somebody who eats energy, just so we have the full cosmos covered. This non-traditional vampire on What We Do in the Shadows feasts not on blood, but on the life force of others.
Yes, I just name one out of my head. I don't know. Colin.
Yes, Colin Robinson.
Nice. I wasn't going to be able to get the names, but very good.
Correct. So,
yay.
Martian Manhunter, Demigorge, the God Eater, Matter Eater Lad, Baby Yoda, Monstro, the Tribbles, Galactus, and Colin Robinson. That's a pretty good fighting.
Fantastic.
I mean, that's a pretty good. But well done, guys. That was spirited.
Crystal, you were a champ in that round. Well done.
Yeah, that was
crushed it. You crushed it, hon.
See?
We crushed it, John. We crushed it.
Yay!
All
Well,
right.
I always knew we were on the same team, Crystal. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's right. Okay, so this this is normally in 4 rounds, but I only had a weekend to come up with these, so we only 3 rounds.
All good.
As is always the case with word balloon trivia, the final round is our mystery round. I'm going to give you 9 questions of general knowledge geek trivia, and the 10th question is, what is the theme?
Put them all together, the answers, and we have our 10th answer.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like last time, where the first letters matter. This one, that doesn't matter. It's just the answers all add up, are all the theme. All right?
Okay.
This member of the Green Lantern Corps first appeared in 1986 and is a Bullarax Vic. In the 2011 Green Lantern movie, he was voiced by Michael Clark Duncan.
Is that Nort?
It's not Nort. Do you want to try another guess?
Oh, it's Kilowog.
Kilowog, correct. Kilowog was voiced by the very famously large Green Lantern was voiced by the famously large Michael Clark Duncan.
Indeed, Poozer. Yes.
Question number 2. This is the title antagonist of the second ever episode of Star Trek. He was the sole survivor of a transport ship that crashed on the planet Thasus.
I know this one. That would be Charlie X.
Correct, Charlie
But
X.
he was not a Muslim, despite the name.
That's right.
But he was played by Robert Walker's son.
Yeah, okay. He does.
From Strangers on the Train, the Hitchcock movie. It's his son. Yeah. Good character actor as well.
So we've Kilowog and Charlie X so far. Number 3. The improved patent for this often disappointing comic book ad novelty, I should say, was registered in 1969 by Harold von Braunt. I do not know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Braunhunt. Harold von Braunhunt, who also brought us the Sea Monkeys. So the
it's got to be.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please continue the clue.
I'll just repeating the clues. The improved patent for this often disappointing comic book ad novelty was registered in 1969 to one Harold von Brunhund, who also invented the sea monkeys.
Well, it's got to be something like X-ray specs or something
X-ray
like that.
specs is correct.
Oh, good job, John.
Sure. Oh, please. I was all over those. God, the best is, and I've actually seen photographs of the actual toy. They used to advertise you could get a two-man submarine. And in fact, I don't know if you remember, Fred, but it was also the basis of one of the Chris Elliott Get a Life TV episodes that he got one. And he made it. He sealed it up and put it in the water with his dad, Bob Elliott. It was very funny. But the actual thing was this like thick cardboard, essentially two-man sub. But I mean, other than the fact that you wouldn't want to keep it outside because one good rain would obviously make it incredibly soggy. But other than that, it was pretty impressive for being a kind of the consistency of like a cardboard box. But this giant cardboard box that would fit two kids. And it looked like a Polaris sub, so that was pretty impressive. My second guess would have been the onion gum of those back ads.
Right.
Or black soap.
Was it disappointing? Did it not taste like onion?
I don't know. I never got the onion. I never got any of those things. And they were supposed it was a catalog company, the Johnson Company. I think they were out of Chicago. So
right.
Can you only imagine that warehouse and stuff? Yeah, Jimmy, we're running low on onion gum.
We need more plastic vomit.
Exactly. Call P. King. We need another 1,000 units. Exactly.
Number 4. This 2018 science fiction film starred Jodie Foster as a nurse who runs a clandestine clinic for criminals in future Los Angeles.
Oh,
Can you say it again? Can you say the log line again?
2018 science fiction film starred Jodie Foster as a nurse who runs a clandestine clinic for criminals in future Los Angeles.
I don't know. Is Leonardo DiCaprio in it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Is it called like Elysium or something like that?
You're close. It's a Greek mythology reference.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I can't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
The name of the movie is Hotel Artemis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have remembered. Again, I was thinking more like esoteric, like Elysium or whatever. But yeah,
it's not bad. It's not bad.
actually
I got a kick out of it.
cool.
I also love Jodie Foster, so she
Yeah.
can kind of do no wrong in my eyes.
I don't know. It sounded a little Shutter Island to me, but I don't really understand what Shutter Island is.
No, this is more of a straight up like science fiction thriller. All right. Number 5. To protect his secret identity, this happened in the comics. To protect his secret identity as Daredevil, Matt Murdock once pretended to be his sighted identical twin brother.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
Who has the first name what?
I know.
John, do you know?
I know it. It's Mike Murdock.
Yes, Mike Murdock. Matt Murdock's phony, made up.
Yep.
Awesome.
And when he shows up in, like, when Zdarsky used him and a few others have used him in modern day, it's always fun. But if you go back to the Silver Age, it's like, he speaks in like hippie speak, or he's not even a hippie. He's clean cut. But yeah, he's totally like
Stan Lee's version of what hippies speak.
Yeah, like Bob Haney in DC during the 60s as well. And it's like, crazy, man, crazy. Oh, that's Mike Murdock. That's Matt's brother. He's nuts. Very funny.
Charlie X, X-Ray Specs, Hotel Artemis, Mike. That's what we currently have. Those are our answers. Number 6, in the 2005 film Constantine, John is seen drinking Ardbog, which is what kind of spirit?
I have no idea.
It's fairly general. You can just start
Demon's blood, like some sort of like demon's blood or whatever.
Alcohol?
Yeah. What kind of alcohol is Ardbog?
Oh,
he's actually trying to trick us because he said spirit and it sounded
weird.
weird.
So it's a normal booze of some sort, Freddie?
Is that your final answer? Yes.
Whiskey?
Yes, whiskey is correct.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. And apparently I was unclear from Wikipedia whether this is a real
Drink.
brand or made up for the movie. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In the opening theme song to his show, who proclaims "Sassy, I am pretty, and do the monkey with me."
Wait, what's the question?
In the opening theme song to his show, who proclaims it's a cartoon show. Maybe this is helpful.
That's helpful.
Who
okay.
Sassy, I am pretty, and do the monkey with me.
I know.
It sounds like Troy McClure, but that's within.
No. It's Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo is correct.
Bravo.
I love Johnny Bravo.
Right.
Your name must be Mickey because you are so fine.
Number 8, though he's most commonly known as Guardian or Vindicator, when Canadian superhero James MacDonald Hudson first appeared as a Wolverine antagonist in Uncanny X-Men number 109, he went by what superhero name?
Oh, geez. I don't know my Alpha Flight the way I should.
You got one. You got one. You said one half of the answer.
So it must be Alpha or something.
Wolverine is often called the program.
Weapon X
was right. Weapon Alpha is correct.
Weapon Alpha. Sure. Okay.
Hudson was.
Okay.
And last but not least, number 9.
Boy, I have no idea putting all this together, but go ahead.
I don't.
Number 9. This Bill Ahmed comic strip premiered April 10th, 1988, and follows the misadventures of parents Andy and Roger and their kids Paige, Peter, and Justin. Since 2006, it is only run on Sundays.
What are the names of the kids again?
Paige, Peter, and Justin.
And the name of the creator?
Bill Ahmed. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Amed is his last name. Is the cartoonist
And
name.
it's still the
running.
cartoon.
It's comic strip.
Comic strip.
Oh. Wait, what are the names again? Yeah.
Andy, I guess her full name is Andrea. Roger and their kids, Paige, Peter, and Justin. Their last name, the reason I'm telling you their last name is it's part of the title of the strip.
Man.
Foxtrot is
Dude,
Foxtrot. Nice. Way to go, Crystal.
Somehow deep in the funnies with my dad.
Sure.
Sunday funny moments.
So do you want me to repeat all of the answers before
We do
you
not know what
to guess what the theme is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wacky mind has come up with. We do not understand
The answers, and you got pretty much all of them except Hotel Artemis. Kilowog, Charlie X, X-Ray Specs, Hotel Artemis, Mike Whiskey, Johnny Bravo, Weapon Alpha, and Foxtrot.
I have no idea how you put all that together and come up with something.
Do it one more time.
Kilowog, Charlie X, X-Ray Specs, Hotel Artemis, Mike Whiskey, Johnny Bravo, Weapon Alpha, Foxtrot.
Do it one more time.
I don't think it's going to help. So
I do. I do think it's going to help.
Okay, this is the last time. People, I hope, are screaming at their phones.
Indeed.
Being like, it's this. Kilowog, Charlie X, X-Ray Specs, Hotel Artemis, Mike Whiskey, Johnny Bravo, Weapon Alpha, and Foxtrot.
I wish they were dances, but I don't think they are.
They are
Do
not.
the Kilowog.
Yeah, because they would be cool dances.
So here we go. Kilo, Charlie, X-Ray, Hotel, Mike, Whiskey, Bravo, Alpha, and Foxtrot.
Oh, I see.
Of the
radio calls.
alphabet.
Right? Aren't they like for radio calls and everything when the military is speaking to each other?
These are all the letters. These are 9 letters of the NATO alphabet, which is called the NATO alphabet, but yes, it's also called the radio alphabet or whatever.
I'm hip. All right, I get it. Wow, I wouldn't have got again. Yeah, there you go. Once you said kilo, and I'm like, wait a minute. All right.
Maybe if I gotten Tango in there, what Whiskey Tango Foxtrot is?
Tango. Yeah, if you'd done Tango, certainly. There was that movie, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Tango Foxtrot.
Yeah. But anyway, that concludes a very fun round.
Freddie, you're the man. Yeah, I'm serious. I love these things, and I'm glad people are telling you at conventions how much they love them as well.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
and
you did it again.
You held your own.
I did it.
You did great, Crystal.
Oh my God, John! Thank you for being team leader. You're amazing.
No, I'm here every week. This is, it's like, how do you know that stuff? I'm like, hey man, this is what I know instead of being a lawyer or a doctor or something. It's like I got all the trivia. I wish my father had lived long enough to see. Well, John, at least we're making money off it.
John and I are fellow Trekkies, so I try to get as much Star Trek stuff.
God, yeah. Hey, Fred, have you seen that new Otoy short film that they made where they have the actors using practical makeup but also CG makeup to look like Kirk and Spock? and it's they've made a couple since last year, but the most recent one is this 8-minute thing of it's Kirk in the afterlife after the events of Star Trek Generations, and it's very 2001 themed. But I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen it, you got to. I'll send you the link, Fred.
Cool. I will check that out.
Oh my God, it's outstanding. It really is. And I forget the name of the actor, but he is wearing makeup, but he really does look like middle-aged Shatner. And God, the guy who plays Nimoy, and once he's made up, literally looks like Leonard Nimoy is making new stuff. It's insane how good these are, and it's authorized by Roddenberry and the Roddenberry estate. And it is like I know Paramount is working in conjunction with these things, so I don't know if they consider it canon or not, but it really they're nothing but deep cuts in terms of the stories and they're adapting ideas that not only came from the movies and the TV show, but also the comics and the novels, because there was a scene last year where it's basically around the end of the Generations movie where the Enterprise D crashed on the planet.
Is that the one about now Generations?
Yes.
That one.
And you've never seen that movie?
You know, John, the big gap in my Trek fandom is anything involving Next Generation, which is a show.
Oh, okay.
And but anyway, go ahead.
No, there's people like that. That's cool. I mean, but yeah, it's they made a scene where Spock shows up at where Picard buries Kirk, basically on that planet.
Okay. And is this like a comedy bit, or are they doing like actual dramatic stuff?
Oh no, it's supposed to be like a dramatic moment and everything. Okay. And it's Shatner's book that he wrote with Judith and Gar Reeve Stevens, The Return. The opening scene is Spock, or no, one of the closing scenes is Spock on Veridian 3, and all of a sudden, and he's standing at Kirk's grave, basically, and they recreate it as a live action scene, and it's like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Cool.
I'll send you. There's a combination of all the scenes, because another character that's in these movies is I forget if she's Ensign or Lieutenant Colt from the original pilot, the Cage. And she's the redheaded officer that when she and Number One are beamed down to the planet, when the Thelosians are like, they're like, well, you're not interested in Vina. Here are two women from your crew that you can populate our world with. And one is Number One, Majel Barrett, and the other is this Lieutenant Colt. And her scene involves this memory wall that takes place in the Marvel Star Trek comic of the Pike crew. And I think it was called Star Trek The Early Voyages. And it only ran like 17 issues, but there was a multi-part story in that where Lieutenant Colt gets visions of the future, and she sees the destruction of the Enterprise in Star Trek 3 and a couple other things. And then she has a mind meld with motion picture era Spock, and he suddenly has these premonitions of future events at that point, and then the movie moves forward. It's amazing.
Cool.
We're obsessed with the cartoon Lower
Decks.
Lower Decks, yeah. Sorry, because it sounds similar to the stupid Bravo show. But we love it so much. Those characters are so amazing, and this is their third or fourth season.
It's their fifth one.
Last season.
Fifth season is really fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think the fourth one was really great, and then the fifth one we're enjoying it. But I love these characters. I could live with them all day. They're so great and fun, and it's everything. I teach a lot. I teach episodic theory at the New School and playwriting and stuff. So I love it because this is pretty much all that's on my students' brains, whether they know it or not. It's just like, how do I impress someone, or how do I, get this next job, or how do I do this thing? And so the fact that it's so nerdy and meshing that time.
After seeing Michelle Yeoh in Wicked yesterday.
Michelle Yeoh is amazing in Wicked, and she's my favorite character, which is a reverse mentor. Sorry if I spoiled it, but Wicked's been out for 20 years.
Ooh. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited for her Star Trek movie, which should be.
What is she in Star Trek?
She is. She was, remember, Burnham's mentor in a Discovery, and she got killed.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Okay. Does she pronounce it you?
I have no idea.
We've always said you, but we don't. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I always heard Yo, and that's where I guess I was confused. But yeah. Giorgio.
We all know we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, Giorgio. I'm worried about that Section 31 movie. I'll be honest. It looks too. Give me a break. It really. I mean, especially the trailers.
Oh, I didn't even realize there were trailers yet.
Oh yeah. I don't know, but I
never liked Discovery in the first place.
I did not. I have to admit. And I like Michelle Yeoh a lot. I'm a big fan of her work. Yeah, she confuses me, frankly, because she speaks with an awkward American accent in Discovery, and yet when I've seen her in interviews, her accent is much more colloquially, North American, and doesn't seem to have the language issue that she, like, her inflections seem odd in Discovery, and it confuses me. And also, I am against the idea of her mirror universe character because she was a cannibal, and also sent a lot of Saru's race in the mirror universe to their deaths, and it's like, oh, she's an anti-hero, and I'm like, no, she's a villain, and you can say, oh, now she's trying to make herself redeem herself or whatever. I'm like, I don't know if you come back from that. I think Hank Pym has an easier job of redeeming himself in comics than Michelle Giorgio or whatever Giorgio's first name was in Star Trek.
So Hank Pym, Ant-Man, famously,
of course, I know Pym.
Famously got
Michael Douglas in the movies.
Well, so he slapped his wife Jan in a panel of
right.
You showed me this panel,
and ironically, this was when they were doing these comics Marvel style, and apparently the writer, I forget who it was, I think it was Roger Stern.
Could be.
Apparently wanted him to shove Jan, but the artist was like, I'm a Marvel artist. Everything has to be, balls to the wall and big. Yeah. And so he whacks her really hard in the face.
And they've had big retreats of all the creators, and because there was that opportunity during Secret Invasion when so many Marvel heroes turned out to be sleeper agents of the Skrulls. And someone they threw it out there.
I was in a lot of those meetings.
Well, Fred, by all means, speak to the experience, please.
Oh, I don't remember them talking about replacing Hank Pym with the Skrull, but I'm sure that's something.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure Slot told me that was being considered. Oh, well, maybe this is the opportunity to say, hey, it wasn't Hank, it was the Skrull that hit the Wasp, and it's like, no, you should leave it because it makes them that much more tragic that he isn't perfect, and no, he screwed up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the coward's way out. I'm glad they didn't.
Oh, interesting.
They didn't. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Oh, I agree. Oh no, that I agree with. Yes.
No, replacing the Skrull and saying it was a Skrull who.
Right.
It's an interesting idea, but
what year was this that happened?
Early 80s, I think.
Oh wow, I thought we were
when the incident happened. Yes.
Because even in musical theater time, they were like, you'll read autobiographies while they're working in the 60s. You're like, and then this actress wasn't doing what we wanted, so we hit her. Oh, but it was a different time.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Well, this was meant.
80s. That's a little. That's.
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but Roddy McDowall used to take home movies of all the actors hanging out with him or whatever. And I saw on either Instagram or Facebook last night, I've seen him before, but there's this great footage from the 60s of Lauren Bacall, 1960s Bacall, baby-faced Jane Fonda looking like, she's 20 or 19 or whatever in a very appropriate 60s bikini, but just so fresh-faced young, pre-Barbarella and everything. And ironically, a lot in this, combination of footage, there's both Kirk Douglas looking very young in early 60s and Natalie Wood, and I'm sure you may have also heard those terrible stories about Kirk abusing Natalie Wood, and that's something that I think he managed to, with his 100+ years of life, managed to avoid any sort of major scandal. But apparently, in the early 60s, he was abusive to Natalie Wood, which is pretty lousy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much going
Downer.
on. We're still doing it a bit with athletes, probably isn't what this show is about, but everyone's like, and I'm like, what? And you're like, yeah. So.
Well, stuff with Diddy and everything too.
Yeah.
Yikes. And apparently that's much like Jeffrey Epstein of, you don't want to know who's at those parties because that's going to ruin a lot of careers.
The only answer is trivia and getting together.
Well said.
And playing trivia and
well said.
And reading funny things like Eat Fighter.
Oh,
that's right.
Every time you get angry, why don't you just pick up something funny and read it, like Foxtrots or Eat Fighter?
Indeed.
Specifically this woman, specifically my wife.
If anything, Fred
specifically
has
by
to worry.
pledging to her Kickstarter.
Hey, Crystal, were you the model for this character? That
yeah, I actually should have come with my pigtails. I know a lot of people are you're seeing. Yes, I am very Missy like. Yeah, I described Missy Barnes, our main character, as kind of just I think not really knowing kind of where her life was going, but impulsive.
Didn't we literally describe her as a 30-year-old who dresses like she's 16?
Who dresses like she's 16, and there's the pigtails. And I hadn't really realized I kind of had described myself. Fernando had not actually seen me. Like Fernando did not know what I looked like. And so I got back the character sketches. And I was like, wow.
There was that moment of like, is he making fun of you?
And I was like, yes, please. Can more people make fun of me this way? This is fantastic.
I don't think he had actually technically gotten the job yet. So it would have been an odd flex if he was.
Often I use, as my avatar, I use Missy because it.
Sure.
Yeah. And, I mean, one of the things and the new piece Parallel Lil, which has to do with the teenager who has opened a parallel dimension, as you might suspect. It's hilarious. But I like dealing with characters with insecurity, trying to work through things, trying to find confidence, make decisions, and, deal with those difficulties. And Missy at the beginning of this certainly is sad about her brother, but also is kind of egged on by her best friend, Winnie, who's much more confident. There is a reveal about Winnie.
Oh, my.
Don't reveal it to the Word Balloon audience.
There's a lot of fun. But what I really do, and I know I wrote it, so you shouldn't talk so much about things that you wrote, but I really love, what I love is that it's got these beautiful, intricate, little fun comedic plot moments, but they're all weaved up in relationships and characters. So there's a real joy to seeing. It's very emotional, every little payoff. That's great. I'm also glad you're teaching the kids episodic storytelling. Oh, and you know what? It's probably my most beloved class. The playwriting, they love it on the last day. They're like, God, when it's done. Yeah. And there's a lot of, I have a different classes. One class is all like, great, we did this, we're taking it forward. Another class is like, you're traditional, man. Like, don't teach me how drama works. And I was like, I'm literally saying you can do anything. I just want you to understand how it works so that you can smash it and you can do different things and look. Sure. Yeah, we study Anne Washburn's Mr. Burns. We study Top Dog Underdog. We study also August Osage County. Their plays are plays. Study everything from the Octoroon to A Long Day's Journey in the Night. Doug Lyon's Table 17. But it's just it's funny that there's just so much debate. I don't know. Theater's always a debate. Theater's always like, how do we cast people? Like, what's happening? What stories are allowed to be told? But episodic theory allows us to talk about how stories are serialized and how they progress and how they lead one another. Fred comes as a guest artist and talks. So we do comics, we do audio. So we do all the storytelling through audio, comics, and plays. So we kind of like weave them all together, and they get and we dip into TV writing. Okay. And so they really leave there with just understanding how story engine works. And it's the most exciting thing. And I always say to them, I'm like, you're not going to get a log line on the first try. We'll keep throwing, we'll keep polishing, we'll keep working on it. They really delight in gaining that skill. And it's really exciting for me to see, like, on day one, what's your story? And it's like, there's a frog, and then there's a toad, and then there's 2 eggs, and then there's a thing. It's like, okay, instead of and then, how can this lead one to the other, and seeing the progression to like a perfect log line and a great idea for a series at the end of my class. It gives me great joy. Apparently they stopped me in the hallways. They're like, Crystal, we're recommending your class to everyone else. It's going to be my 3rd year teaching it. So
that's wonderful. That's great. And this is at the new school, right?
The new school.
Hashtag winning.
Yeah, just show up. Man. I'll the room number. Just come on in for free.
Well,
and hang
but
out.
also, like, and honestly, both of you, I'm curious what your thoughts are, because without getting into, we don't need to get into the details of the election, but I just think from a voter consumption standpoint, we are seeing the changes from traditional media and the way that elections have been covered to now all the candidates going to podcasts to get their message across. And we keep hearing more and more that people are getting their news from TikTok and YouTube shorts, things like that. And it's funny because I'm sure you both remember 10 years ago when, it hasn't even been 10 years yet, but when Quibi was going to do short form video content storytelling
4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And it failed. And it's like, no, that's not it. But organically, all these other ways of storytelling have appeared. So I think that's interesting. And like you said, Crystal, I mean, or essentially what you were getting at is you got to know like the basics before you can get experimental and do it a different way or whatever. I mean, you need to know the rules before you can break the rules, basically. But what do you think as creative people, how storytelling delivery is changing?
It's a blessing and a curse, because it's a blessing as an artist, because if anything, you have more at your disposal and more ways to do something really interesting, whether it's even like TikTok, Instagram stories, or like things and there's so many different ways to tell a story. The curse is, like you said, politicians are using it in a massive way, and then also civilians have become journalists, and look, that comes to Broadway as well. Like journalists are not paid very well, and we need more criticism. Actually, we need more critics.
Agreed.
So if your play isn't done in New York or Chicago, it is very difficult to have your play get noticed, and that's because there aren't critics in these regions.
Right.
So but the thing, so even, theaters relying on those reviews of people that came and see a show and posted. I think that's really great. People have always responded to shows, but I think the idea of like what is reality and what is fiction is becoming more and more blurred, especially for those that aren't taught in a way of how to really analyze it for themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. And there are a lot of people out there that still seem to take things really at face value, and
yes.
That's really startling. And I think it has to do, not to get too professory, but I think it has to do with education in this country, which has been wildly uneven for a long, long time. And we love radio so much, John, and I feel like a lot of people abused that world. And I definitely know that the right interfered with there were rules, and they got rid of those rules for what you can say and can't say. So they started, this is like 10 years ago or so.
Even longer, Crystal, when they, during the Reagan administration, when they got rid of the fairness doctrine, that's where I believe.
Thank you, because I knew you would know. Once they got rid of that, then they could just chip. And so then anything news, and who knew that radio, and right now everyone's saying TikTok and all this stuff, but I'm like, it's actually what we're seeing as the result of is people in rural places and radio and talk shows / podcast, certain folks I won't name that have these shows that really are misleading people. So, it's so a blessing and a curse. What can I say? So there are the times in which we live. I don't know. It's such a wild time. I don't even know what more to say about it. How do you feel about Honey? I definitely feel more happy in fiction. I will say that.
Well, I think the challenge ultimately, particularly, what I see just going to Comic-Cons and just seeing what people of various age groups are into, you just kind of have to find your people if you're a storyteller and get people who are into what you're doing. And that's the hard part. The good news is that because of the internet, it's easier to reach people. The downside is that everybody's doing it and there's more competition. So it's It's always a struggle. It's always a struggle to break free. You know, I do sort of wonder about what's going to become of, you know, the traditional sort of forms of storytelling we grew up with. But, you know, people tell stories. People will figure it out.
Yeah.
You know? The TikTok thing is sort of weird. It's like vegging in front of the TV without bothering to have any like content to go along with it at all. It's just kind of like this, just the screen, you know, constantly.
Right.
You know, if you can't have an you know, if you can't hold your attention for more than 2 minutes, you know, it's sort of not great.
It also has become its own thing where it's created issues, just to pick one of them, bullying, obviously, and especially with women and young women in appearance. There's just so much commenting going on, and some people think it's positive when it's like, you're so pretty, and then, like, you know, it can go another direction. And so then there are TikToks against bullying that are like, why are you doing that? But it's got much worse in that specific platform, in terms of, and just in general, any social media visually is very judgmental of appearance. And that's a lot of what Each Fighter gets into. We judge very much a book by its cover, and that's just not really reality, actually.
Understood. Yep. Well, so, everybody
want to be judged by that cover.
That cover, we are. Yes, that's me eating a million hot dogs, basically.
Oh, well, and then of course there's some, again, moments of interior from Eat Fighter as well. Yeah, pretty neat. And here they are. There's Missy, Winnie.
Mm-hmm. That's her
Takoyaki.
Rival. She's neat. She's fantastic.
Carlos. And then, of course, our creators, Fred Van Lente, Fernando Pinto, and Crystal Skillman. There she is with her pigtails. Adorable.
Pigtails, yeah.
America's sweetheart.
Well, Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, John. This has been awesome.
Oh, come on.
Even if we only saw you in bat signal form.
Yeah, I know. I'm really sorry, guys. I wish the camera was working. But always good to see you and hang out. And I'm sorry I haven't seen you in person in a while. I missed New York this year, but back in October. But you know, I'll do what I can to make it next year. I don't know. I love you guys and I love New York, but I hate that show. And it's nothing against Reed. It's the Javits Center. It's, you know, thank God. It's getting better. I know that they are finally starting building more things around it. But, you know, God, it takes you 15 minutes on foot just to get back to where Madison Square Garden is and stuff, you know, in that neighborhood.
So. You know, it's just the nature of the narrowness of Manhattan, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At least there's Hudson Yards now. There's so many it's so weird. Almost like a carnival.
Did have some great dinners at Hudson Yards. It was for the first time, because of Hudson Yards, you didn't have to like leave the con area really to go have a nice meal. Which was a real plus.
But I still know the secret. I know the secret, John, because for 3 years, my favorite day job I had when I was first starting writing was for these architects. I think I've talked about it many times, because Epstein is in Chicago, was one of them. FX Fowl that made the Times building was the other ones. And the other ones was Richard Rogers in London. And Richard Rogers in London wanted to do a revolving restaurant on top of the Javits. It was gorgeous. I saw the original designs that they wanted. You can blame New York bureaucracy. Every person in the state, every person who was giving money just shot down any cool idea for the Javits. So they did the best they could with an enhancement, but I saw the original drawings and I actually had a key. I had to lock the door so that no New York State's person could see what they were working on as they were working on it.
That's cool. Here, a couple comments from one of our viewers. MP Jedi 21 says, "Can't wait to get Eat Fighters." So that's cool. Love King Kirby.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, he says, "John, you're talking me out of NYCC." My negative comments about the show. What can you do? Oh well.
I think it'll survive, John. Don't worry.
I'm sure it will. I'm a single voice, believe me. But guys, great seeing you. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you,
Freddie. As always, well done on the trivia contest. It's always fun, man.
You inspire me, John.
Well, you're ridiculously kind, but I think you do fine on your own. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's going to be a fun week, really, leading up to Thanksgiving. Tomorrow night, Joe Casey's going to be back. He's got a couple new things, including his new Substack that he wants to share with us all. But also, he just finished Kneel Before Zod for DC. He's been doing Johnny Quest for Mad Cave. And he's also doing X Factor for Marvel. So we'll have a lot to talk about. Tuesday, I'm talking to Tom King about Black Canary and Wonder Woman and other things that are going on in the world of Tom King. We'll see how much or how little. I'm guessing very little about Lanterns, the HBO TV series that he's working on for James Gunn. And then Wednesday, if all goes well, my buddy Dan McNeil from radio is going to be on. And Dan was one of my mentors in sports radio. And he just released a book about his many decades covering our losing team, your Chicago Bears. Well, my Chicago Bears, if you will. And that'll be a lot of fun as well. So that's all coming up this week, leading up to Thanksgiving. I hope you'll check it out. That's what's happening on Word Balloon. Until next time, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.